Good morning. My name is not Carolyn Connor. My name is Bill Scrimshire. I have the privilege to welcome you to All Souls Church on this special Sunday in which we're having the Immigrant Experience presented by our choir. And if you especially like this, or if you discover other people who might want to hear it, there's another performance tomorrow night. So you can get a second chance to see it tonight, today, and again tomorrow night. So bring someone else tomorrow if you'd like to see it again. We welcome you all to All Souls and to those who are watching us on live stream today. What we'd like to do especially is welcome guests, and I would hope we have some guests today. If you are a guest and you feel comfortable doing so, you may introduce yourself, tell us where you're from, and give us your name. Do we have any guests? You may stand if you could do that, or if we have members who would introduce a guest, that's even better. Phyllis. Oh, welcome. Good to have you here. Other guests? Here's Jim.
I'd like to introduce my friend Nan Wilson. Nan is a long-time Unitarian.
Great. Good to have her, and we have Angela right down front. One or Dorothy or either one. Alex, he was a former chairman of the board too. Good to have you here, Alex. Angela. All right. Welcome. We're glad to have all of you here, and there is a Sunday Plus lunch today down the hall for those of you who are visitors, and you are welcome to attend, and it's free for you. Just tell the cashier that you're a visitor. Anthony will introduce our special guest today.
Good morning. I am so thrilled that our friends from AIR are here this morning, that Angela introduced us to. They will be sharing their stories with us inside the cantata this morning, the Immigrant Experience. I want to take a moment to introduce our guest musicians. I was inadvertently, I didn't introduce our new alto section leader when she was here before. We're so excited that Nancy Nail has joined us in the choir. And you'll hear from Sarah and Tom and Chris inside the cantata as soloists. We have on clarinet this morning, we have Brett Jackson, my good friend. And my new friend, Cameron Gattenby on violin. And my dear friend, Sasha Goshong on cello.
My name is Sean, and I light this chalice for the goal of world community with peace, liberty, and justice for all.
Now I invite us to rise and speak together the words of our covenant promise to one another. Together we affirm, goodwill is the spirit of this church, and service is its law. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. And let's remain standing for our opening song. The words will appear on the screen.
Once upon a time, America boasted of pilgrims and pioneers.
Our nation celebrated the courage and vision of those who left old homelands for the sake of new opportunities and adventures.
It wasn't the story of millions of indigenous tribal people already living lightly here on this continent, displaced and destroyed by European colonials.
It wasn't the story of millions of Africans kidnapped and brought by force to foreign shores, their lives and labor stolen to build a heritage for others.
It wasn't easy for most of those millions who came from old countries, Irish, Italians, Jews, Swedes, Chinese, Mexicans, starting out with next to nothing, with only hope and family and faith.
Willing to go hungry, willing to do back-breaking labor, willing to let it be their children who would see the promise bloom.
When did we lose our confidence in that promise?
From the beginning, there have always been some who wanted to close the door, to grasp all opportunity in the hands of privilege, to shut out the stranger, to refuse the newcomer.
And yet, America today owes its vitality to the waves of immigrants that have shaped it, to the energies of many heritages and the contributions of those who chose this to be their homeland.
In this new century, no less than in centuries past, the need and the opportunity continue to be interwoven. The immigrant experience is still central to the spirit of our nation, to its courage and hope, to its vision for the future, to its greatness.
This morning, we celebrate that experience and that promise in music and word. And we invite ourselves to recommit to the practice of welcome that has been the best of who we are.
The compassion that calls us to enfold all who are driven by hunger and destitution, to protect those who flee from oppression and violence, to embrace all who seek a better life here in this land, who wish to be our good neighbors.
We welcome you, who gather to share this hour of reflection, to be reminded of our roots in the past and our responsibilities to the future.
May our minds and hearts be open, and may we be inspired to be better neighbors, better citizens, and better human beings, who together shall build a better world.
Is open to receive not only the opulent and respectable stranger, but the oppressed and persecuted of all nations and religions. We shall welcome to participation of all our rights and privileges. If by decency and propriety of conduct they appear to merit the enjoyment, they merit the enjoyment. The bosom of America is open. A right which nature has given to all, of departing from the country in which chance, not choice, has placed them. like a for peace and truth, like a nation, like a from Africa, begun from Mexico. Dominican Republic, United Kingdom, Honduras, Russia, Iran, Pakistan, Japan, Nigeria, Yemen, Iraq, Ethiopia, Portugal. What's your story? Did you struggle when you got here?
Hi, everyone. My name is Diana, and I am one of the 11 million of immigrants that Trump is trying to deport. My parents brought my sisters and I to the US when I was 6 years old. It was tough when they first arrived. We lived for a while in a 4-bedroom house with 3 other families. Each family got their own room. My parents worked hard to give us a good home. They worked hard to give us opportunities that they didn't have back in Mexico. I look back and am just amazed at what they were able to accomplish with all the adversities they faced. Being so young, it didn't take me long to learn English, but I still struggled growing up. I felt like I was constantly being tugged by 2 worlds. I remember my parents would tell me that I can't do this or I can't do that, because I wasn't like the rest of my friends. Being so young, I didn't understand. I felt like I was like the rest of my classmates. It wasn't until the junior year of high school that I finally understood what they meant. I now knew what made me different from my friends. 9 digits. 9 little numbers that kept me from being able to get my driver's license, to work legally, to plan my future, like everyone else around me was doing. This was pre-DACA. And the culture was and still is that we don't talk about our status. It's something you keep to yourself, something you live with. So I started spiraling. I became detached from my family, my friends, from life. My grades started dropping. I stopped caring. I was depressed. The hope and dreams that my teachers told me to believe in, I wasn't able to pursue. I struggled to get through high school. Luckily, my parents were there to push me through the thick of it. I can't imagine being here without them. They were my rocks. But I was fortunate enough to have both of my parents here for me. There are families that are not so fortunate and are torn apart. Shortly after high school, a friend told me about the Kansas-Missouri Dream Alliance. They were another lifeline I desperately needed. There I met others like me. They were undocumented and they were unafraid. They were the community that I needed. They gave me hope. They showed me that I had the will to fight, that this wasn't right. We deserved a future, a bright future, just like everyone else. So together with thousands of undocumented youth across the nation, we built an empowering and beautiful movement. And finally in 2012, after much sacrifice and resiliency from thousands across the nation, Obama passed the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrival, DACA. But that was just a temporary solution, because here we are in 2019, and it's in limbo, and we're still fighting. But everything the immigrant youth was able to accomplish couldn't have happened without the community that stood behind us and supported us. We have to remember that our freedom is bound to one another's.
From war and revolution, they came to man for gold and built the Western railways through sun and heat and cold. They huddled into Chinatown, the so-safe place they knew, until they were expired in 1892. Did you get here by walking? Miles and miles and miles and miles and miles of walking. Miles and miles and miles and miles and miles of walking. Over hills, over hills, over hills, over hills, over hills, hills over hills, crossing
Hi, everyone. My name is Carla, and I was born in Mexico. I've been living in the United States since I was 5 years old. It is nighttime in 1996. My auntie Natalie wakes me. She says, "Wake up, someone is here to see you." Who could it be? I wonder. I wake dazed and confused. My auntie notices that I am too sleepy to walk. She picks me up in her arms and walks down the stairs. We arrive to the living room, and I see a lady smiling at me, asking for an embrace. Who is she? "Ven, mija," she says with an excited voice. I realized after time passes that she is my mother, Sandra. My mom explains to me that she is back for me. She wants to take me with my dad and my little sister to el otro lado, the other side. My parents left me in Mexico for 2 years because they could not afford to bring me with them. A few days go by, and I am saying goodbye. After hours, we arrive to a place I have never seen before. I see a man and a woman talking to my mom, while I wait patiently. My mom and I get into a car with strangers. It is broad daylight. I am confused as to why we are walking this long. All I see is my mom, 4 other people, dirt, and dried up plants. I ask my mom if we are almost there because I am tired, too tired. She does not reply. The sun is hot and it feels like it's burning my head. I do not see any buildings or homes nearby, just plants. My mom and I walked for hours. All of a sudden, we start running because we see trucks coming towards us. "La migra!" "Border Patrol," my mom yells. As I run, all I want is to get into the truck so it can take us to our destination. I was tired. I didn't want to walk anymore. The truck eventually catches up to us. Those men are mean to my mom. They are yelling. The officer sits me on a bench outside of my mom's cell. I fall asleep. We were sent back to the city of Palomas, Mexico. It is the next day, 10 in the morning. I am walking the desert again. I want to go home. This time, my feet are too tired, and I ask my mom to please carry me. She does. The sun seems stronger today. I tell my mom that I can walk down now, so she puts me down. A boy who was with us asked for some of my water. The boy accidentally drops a gallon on the floor. The water is gone. I felt my mouth very dry. I need water. I keep walking, but my body is heavy. I am thirsty, and I start to feel dizzy. Everything went dark. It is nighttime. I wake up in a black car. I am dizzy and thirsty. My mom frantically looks for water. My head is pounding. I was thirsty. A man says, "The water has been there for days," but I don't care. I chug the whole thing. The water was hot. It burns my throat, but I drink it anyway. We arrive in Deming, New Mexico. They lead my mom and I to a room. It was dark and dirty. Dead bugs everywhere. I was so sure this is not my destination. I am once again confused. We tried to sleep, but a woman says we had to hide because the police was coming. We ran back to what looked like an abandoned storage room. That room was very crowded with old furniture and 4 other people. I am confused, and I ask my mom what is going on. She says, "Agáchate, put your head down." I hear helicopters and dogs. I see lights outside. I wonder what's going on. I am scared. I want to go back to my grandma's house. Hours pass, and I do not hear the helicopter, dogs, or see lights. We walk back to the room. I cried myself to sleep because I was scared those bugs would crawl on me. We finally arrive to our destination, and it feels like home. Fast forward to 22 years, I am here, first-generation college graduate. Although many struggles exist and are persistent, I am glad my parents brought me here to live a better life. It truly has been better.
Buen día, mi nombre es Alma, soy de Guatemala.
Good day. My name is Alma. I'm from Guatemala.
Voy a compartir mi historia como migrante.
I'm going to share my story today of being an immigrant.
Salí de mi país porque yo era dueña de un salón de belleza y me estaban extorsionando.
I left my country because I was the owner of a beauty salon and they started extorting me.
Me pedían una cuota semanal de 1,000 quetzales.
They were asking weekly payments.
Pude pagar 2 cuotas, una que fue el 8 de abril y la otra el 15 de abril.
I was able to only afford to pay 2 of those weekly quotas, one on April 8th and one on April 15th.
Luego me tocaba la otra el 22 de abril, la cual no pude cancelarla.
And I had a payment due April 22nd that I wasn't able to pay.
Fue cuando las personas que me estaban extorsionando salieron al camino cuando mi hijo venía de la escuela.
And that day that I couldn't pay, the people that were extorting me grabbed my son after he was walking home from school.
¿Cuál fue que mi hijo no sabía lo que estaba pasando?
My son didn't know what was going on.
Cuando él llegó me dijo, mami, ¿qué pasa? Fíjese que me salieron unas personas y me dijeron.
He came home and was like, Mom, what's happening? There's people that stopped me.
Que si usted no cumplía con lo que había dicho, me iban a matar a mí y a usted.
They said that if you didn't give them what you promised them, that they would kill me and you.
Fue cuando yo tomé la decisión de salir, dejando todo tirado.
That's when I made the decision to stop, to leave and that's when I decided to leave everything and leave.
Salí hacia la capital. A los 2 días me contacté con mi familia y tomé la decisión de emprender mi viaje como mojada.
And we went to the capital. We were there for 2 days. We met with my family. And that's when we decided that we were going to come to the U.S. across the border.
Luego salí de Guatemala el 29 de abril hacia cruzar México.
April 29th, we left Guatemala and we started the journey across Mexico.
Me llevé un mes para cruzar el México. Luego crucé el 2 de junio hacia acá, cruzando el río Bravo.
It was a month-long journey to cross Mexico. And June 2nd, we were able to cross the river, the Rio Grande.
Caí a las 6 de la tarde, crucé con mi hijo, caminé mucho hasta las 11 de la noche pensando que migración me tomara.
And we crossed around 6 p.m. and we started walking. And we kept walking and walking until about 11 p.m. We were thinking that the immigration officers would grab us fairly quickly.
Sin saber que cuando yo crucé era la época en que estaban separando a los padres con los hijos.
And I crossed not knowing that it was the time when they were separating kids from their children.
Nos llevaron a una parte que le dicen la hielera. Ahí nos separaron. Luego, a los 2 días, me dijeron que me llevaban a una corte con un juez.
They took us to the hielera, which is that ice box. We were there for 2 days. And then they told us that they were going to take us to see a judge. And that's when they separated us from our kid.
Y nos dijeron que los niños no podían ir con nosotros a una corte y que cuando regresáramos de la corte nos iban a dar a nuestros hijos.
They told us that we had to go to court, and because the kids were underage, they couldn't come with us.
Regresamos de la corte de nuevo a otro lugar que le decían la perrera, donde nos tuvieron 7 días sin cambiarnos, sin cepillarnos, sin nada.
They told us that when we came back, we would be able to be reunited with our kids, but that was a lie. When we came back from court, they put us in the perrera, the dog pound, without our kids. We were there for 7 days without a change of clothes, without a shower, without anything.
Nos sacaron de allí y nos dijeron que nos iban a reunificar con nuestros hijos y fue una mentira porque a nuestros hijos ya se los habían llevado para otro lugar y de ahí a mí me llevaron a una prisión.
After those 7 days, they told us they were transferring us to another place where they would reunite us with our kids. But that was a lie. They had already taken our kids somewhere else. From then, they transported me to another prison.
Una prisión que es en Puerto Laredo, Texas.
And it's a maximum security prison in Puerto Laredo, Texas.
Allí me tuvieron 28 días y fue hasta los 23 días que yo pude saber dónde estaba mi hijo, que me dieron una llamada.
I was there for a total of 28 days, but it wasn't until the 23rd day that I was finally able to speak to my kid.
Y las oficiales o los oficiales que nos cuidaban nos trataban muy mal, nos decían que por qué arriesgábamos nuestros hijos y que no habíamos tenido, como quien dice, cuidado de arriesgarlos de cruzar el río Bravo.
And there, the officers treated us very badly. And they kept yelling at us and they asked us, why did we risk our kids' lives to cross the river?
Y que no sabíamos qué iba a pasar con nuestros hijos porque a nosotros nos iban a mandar de regreso a nuestro país y que nuestros hijos no sabían a quién le iban a quedar.
And they told us that they didn't know what was going to happen to our kids because they were going to send us back to our countries. They didn't know who our kids would stay with here.
Luego, a los 28 días, me trasladaron a otra prisión que se llama Puerto Isabel en McAllen, Texas.
And after those 28 days, they transported me again to another prison in Texas.
Ahí estuve 18 días más.
I was there for another 18 days.
Fue ahí cuando nos dieron la noticia que sí nos iban a reunificar nuevamente con nuestros hijos.
And it was there that they finally told us that they were going to reunite us with our kids.
Y fue así, un día a las 10 de la noche me mencionaron mi nombre.
And it was that day at 10 p.m. that they called my name.
Y me dijeron que ya iba, que mi hijo ya me estaba esperando afuera.
They told me that my son was waiting for me outside.
Y sí, así fue. Nos recibieron unas hermanas de la iglesia católica.
And there, my son was outside waiting for me. It was true. And there were some Catholic nuns waiting for us outside.
Y nos subieron a una Benz. Y yo todavía a ese tiempo no sabía para dónde nos llevaba.
And we all got in a van. But at that moment, I still didn't know where they were taking us.
Hasta que llegué al parqueo de la iglesia, yo me di cuenta que era una iglesia que nos llevaba.
It wasn't until we got to the parking lot that we realized they took us to a church.
Allí fue cuando nos recibió un padre que se llama Jorge, que nunca lo voy a olvidar.
And that's where Father George greeted us, and I'm never going to forget him.
Nos recibieron con abrazos, con comida, con ropa, porque no traíamos absolutamente nada.
And there they greeted us with clothes, with food, with everything, because we didn't have anything at that point.
Eso fue lo que yo viví, una parte de lo que yo viví. Y estoy agradecida con las personas que nos han apoyado.
That's only a small part of what I've lived. But I'm forever grateful for all the people that have helped.
Se los agradecemos mucho. Nosotros no vamos a poder pagarles, pero Dios sí hará obra en ellos.
We really appreciate it. We may not be able to pay back, but God will be able to pay back.
Muchas gracias por escucharme.
Thank you for listening.
The land flourished because it was fed from so many sources, nourished by many cultures and traditions and peoples. Nearly all Americans have ancestors who braved the oceans, liberty-loving risk-takers in search of an ideal. Immigration is not just a link to America's past, it's also a bridge to America's future. Offering an asylum to the persecuted and oppressed of every nation and religion. The religion then of every man must be left to the conviction and conscience of every man. And it is the right of every man to exercise it as these may dictate. We have always believed it possible for men and women to rise as far as the talent and energy allow. Neither race nor place of birth should affect their chances. The United States should be an asylum for the persecuted lovers of civil and religious liberty. Give me your tide, your queen, your masses.
And thank you to our speakers who had the courage to be here today. Thank you so much.
And thank you all for being here. This is one of our special offering Sundays for music and religious education, and I hope you really enjoyed the music as much as we enjoyed preparing it and trying to tell the story to you. We're so fortunate to have our music director, Anthony Edwards, to find such a relevant piece, and we love trying to share and connect the piece to you. And then Anthony was able to reach out to Angela Ferguson, who introduced us to Deanna, who found our speakers, so that all of us could really have a very deep experience today. We're just so fortunate. Sarah and Anthony do such a great job of helping us learn our music, and our section leaders, Nancy, Tom, Chris, are important not only for solos, but for helping us learn the music so we can share it with you. Similar to our music program, our religious education program, Judith finds relevant curriculum. She and Melanie support the teachers to help our young minds explore and learn to be critical thinkers and critical listeners, all of which we need to heal our culture. Our budget requires us to fundraise a portion of the religious education and music beyond pledge income, about $12,000. Any additional money for your generosity will help reduce our budget deficit, which our budget year ends June 30th, so that's coming up. Please show your support for a strong, relevant religious education and music program with your donations above and beyond your pledge to help us protect the programs, and so that we can grow as a community. And if you've not yet taken an opportunity to make a pledge, if you're not a pledging person already, or increase your pledge to help protect these programs in the future, consider doing that as well. Thank you.
Will you join me in speaking the words of dedication for our offering? We dedicate our offerings and our actions to the mission at the heart of this congregation, to build a respectful, caring community, to inspire personal and spiritual growth, and to create change toward a just and compassionate society. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fires of commitment. For all these we carry in our minds and hearts until we are together again. More than half a century ago, in the tensions of the Cuban Missile Crisis, the renowned Unitarian minister A. Powell Davies told his people, "The world is now too dangerous for anything but truth, too small for anything but global kinship." So it is today. May truth and kinship be the watchwords of our thinking, our speaking, and our action as we build the future of the human community together.